All right, for the color wheel assignment, we're really going to try and nail down how color works and how you can make any color that you're trying to make. To do this, I'm going to give you a limitation. You're only allowed to use the red, yellow, and blue paints for your color wheel. You'll be tempted to use the green and the purple and the orange, but I really want you to learn how to mix the colors from our three primary colors. So just stick with red, yellow, and blue. To start, you'll see on your color worksheet, color wheel worksheet, that you have a solid line between these three circles. These are where you're going to place your primary colors. The primary colors are the ones that you can use to make all other colors, and you cannot make those colors by mixing other two paints together. We'll put the yellow at the top. So I'm going to start with taking some clean paint on a clean brush, and I would recommend that you always start with the yellow because the other paints are so much stronger they tend to overpower. And I'm just going to get that paint going, and I want to bring some out into a mixing area so I can use it here in a minute. And if I feel like I need to get more paint going, like I just don't have enough there, I'm going to dip my brush in my rinse water, pick up some clean water, and then continue to stir. Okay, once I have enough paint here, I'm kind of dragging it on that little bar so it kind of pulls off the brush. I'm just going to pick up some of it and paint in my circle here. Let's try to control along the edge as much as possible. We are learning how to use the paint, so we might make mistakes, but it does come to a really nice point, so you can just bring that point along the edge and then push down on the brush to fill it in. Okay, if I follow this line down to this one, this is where I'm going to put the blue. Now I have yellow paint on my brush, and I don't want to go straight into the blue with it because then I'll contaminate my paint. So I'm going to rinse it in my dirty water, drag it on the side of the cup, pick up clean water, stir it into the blue, and I'm going to place this blue in a different part of the tray here. I think it's a little bit too thick and dark. I'm just going to lighten it just a teeny bit. So I'm going to drop it in my rinse water and then just pick up just a tiny bit of clean water just so it flows nicely. And I don't want to have too much paint on my brush, so I'm going to drag it on the edge here to pull some of it off so it's just the right amount. And I will paint this one in. Okay, once you've put that one down, you can move on to your third primary, which goes over here. This is going to be our red. Again, I'm rinsing out my brush, picking up clean water, and stirring it into the red. And I think I'm going to put my red all the way down here, so I have places to mix in between. A little bit more. I can tell by pushing it across that it's not very dark. I want it to be just a teeny bit darker. That looks pretty good. So I follow the line over. This one gets painted over here. And again, we're just learning. You'll probably make a few mistakes trying to keep it inside the line. We're just getting used to the brush. That's totally fine. Just try not to make a big mess of it. Okay, while you're working, if you find that you are getting a dry brush, and by dry brush that means like you're painting with, you're trying to paint in a circle and this is happening, like you're seeing lots of little white spots and you have to brush a lot to get it all covered up, that means you don't have enough paint mixed up. So you want to go back, dip your brush in water, stir it more into the paint, get a nice big blob of paint going, and then bring it to your paper. Okay. So now we want to mix these in between colors. I'm not going to do all of them in this video because I don't want to bore you to death, but I am going to mix between the yellow and the blue so you can see what happens here. And then you can just do the other two sections the same way. So here we go. I'm going to clean. I need to get all of that red out of my brush, and I used the wrong water for it. There you go. Okay, so I'm going to start with my yellow paint, and I'm going to just add the teeniest, tiniest bit of blue that I can to it, stir it up a bit, and it should look kind of like a yellow-green. This one goes next to it right here. If you find that you made a mistake, you can let the paper dry, paint your circle on another piece of paper, cut it out, and then glue it on top when you're finished. Okay, next one, I'm going to add more blue. I'm going to try and get just a straight up green color. That looks pretty good. That one goes here. You want to be able to see a difference between the two that you've mixed up, so this one should look more green than that. And then this one should be a mixture of the blue and this color. So I'm going to take quite a bit of the blue, stir it in there. See if I can get a blue-green. That one would go right here. So notice how I'm trying to keep the tip of the brush right on the edge of that line so I can carefully fill it in and then just kind of backfill it like that. All right, so I've done a third of my color wheel. Next up, I would probably go from yellow to red. Before I do that, I would want to wash my brush out really carefully. I maybe want to clean out some of my mixing areas, so I may want to get rid of this blue-green so I can dip a paper towel in some clean water, clean it out so I have more mixing room, and I want to make sure I don't have any blue mixing in with my red to yellow on this side. And I would go just the same way. So I would start with yellow, add a tiny spick of red to it, add a little bit more red, add quite a bit more red. So these should all look like a yellow orange and a red orange over on this side. Then you do the same thing, clean out your tray, get some new water, and then you can do the last part. So this one would be an equal mixture of red and blue, a little bit more blue mixed in, a little bit more red mixed in. In the following video, we'll talk about what we do with the middle ones. Have fun with your painting.